that.
They can now hear us. Speaking of re-aiming cameras, I'm taller than John.
Yeah.
Let's not have an entire...
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Worldfire.
Are we live?
GM. Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Live again, at least, I should say. So, we're going to be doing some readjustments. Next week, we should have a different mic setup. We're using this month's Patreon money to buy shotgun mics that are XLR, so that we're not having to talk. So the pickup patterns on these mics are right here. You'll notice that we are not hovering above these mics.
And having the mics hang in front of people was obnoxious on several levels.
Yeah, so we're going to be getting shotgun mics so that they're pointed at us rather than us having to talk over them. That being said, if you want to help with that process, we're using Patreon money, but every little bit helps us get better mics. So feel free to donate. Currently, we're looking at getting really cheap shotgun mics. If there's a sudden deluge of donations for mics coming in, we might be able to get more expensive shotgun mics. So help.
You could give us more money. We could just get shotguns.
We could just get shotguns, but the problem with those is miking them. But yeah,
what kind of cable do you run from a shotgun to a soundboard?
You don't.
Well, yeah.
Anyways,
You
so
run from the shotgun.
we're gonna be working on that for next week's setup, and there's gonna be a different overlay. I know the overlay right now is still Deadlands Hunter Society. Again, I didn't have time to do a thing. So, anyways, Austin, take it away.
All right, so we are going to be playing 5th edition. The setting is a world of my own creation. We have a group of people from, and I believe all of you are from the Western continent, which is called Acrotia, and is split into the mainland, which is it's a Bronze Age world. The mainland, which was run by an empire. The northern islands, which were sort of a feudal city-state group. And the Dark Elves, who had a Aztec-esque jungle island further north. And I believe that's where all of you were from. We're from one of those three. So, let's go ahead and introduce our characters so that they have an idea. On my left,
I am Holly, and I will be playing Tarell. She is a... Sorry, it's been a while.
Shifter.
Yeah, she's human shifter. She can shift into a fox, and she is a bard.
Do you remember what kind of shifter you were? It was like the swift leg or something.
I believe she's the one that got a claw attack.
Yes, I'm the one that got a claw attack.
Gotcha.
I don't have my sheet somewhere upstairs, I think.
Yeah. And further to the left.
Hi, I'm William. I will be playing Clanless Faust, Dragonborn Warlock. My patron is the Undying, the Lich King, Grimgar. I am a warlock of the Pact of the Tome, and my Book of Secrets hides much knowledge.
All right. On my far right,
I'm playing the polar opposite of Clanless Faust. I'm John, and I'm playing Sensaku Sanada, the chosen of... What god am I chosen of now?
Shunzi.
Not Shunzi anymore.
No, it's not Shinzi anymore.
It was never Shunzi. That was a
turns
lie.
Yes. Instead of the patron of freedom and breaking of chains and that sort of things, you are now the patron of... You're now the avatar of the patron of good-hearted thieves.
Yes. Whose name is...
Mazihoro.
That one.
No.
Because I am a ASMR sorcerer. I am an ASMR favorite soul sorcerer, which basically gives me access to both divine magic and arcane magic, and I have reskinned myself from a samurai to a ninja. I cast greater invisibility, sneak up on people, and then inflict wounds at 9th level on them.
Well, when you get to 9th level
Once I get to 9th level spells.
Yes.
Currently inflict wounds at 6th level.
All right. And then to my middling right.
I'm Zach, and I'm playing Yitarasu, who is Paladin, Oath of the Ancient, a Goliath. Basically, you get a pretty good idea of him from the fact that he's a big, soft-spoken guy who dual-wields shields. He basically just kind of appreciates the good in the world and wants the good in the world to keep happening. He's a pretty simple guy in his philosophies.
I'm sure I can make that happen.
He's a really nice meat shield for when I'm sneaking around stabbing things.
He's the support character. Because he always plays the support character.
It's fun.
Yes. And every group appreciates having a support character.
I like how he's like I'm playing the healer, but he's playing the support.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's because you're the very aggressive healer.
I'm what they call a reverse healer.
Yeah.
Because I'm a healer too, also.
And then immediately, am I right?
It's okay.
I'm Stan playing a
Don't lay on hands me. I lay on hands
fighter
you.
named Duncan Buick.
Heal.
I essentially just go into the front and beside the meat shield and just hack away at things before what's his face can sneak around.
So we have our DPS,
Yeah.
our tank,
Yeah.
our
DPS heals.
red mage,
There you go.
Yeah.
our other red mage, and then our...
Oh no, he's much more of a black mage.
Yeah, black mage.
Black, yeah.
Entertainment?
And then our jack of all trades?
Bard.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the all job from Final Fantasy? The one that used enemy skills.
Oh, blue mage.
Blue Mage? Yeah.
Blue mage.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, this group of people had gotten together. Let's go ahead and go around one more time real quick. And this time, instead of saying who we are, we're going to give a brief, what is our motivation? Because we're all together, and you may have noticed a few discrepancies in alignment.
Only one.
There's one outlier.
There's only one major discrepancy.
One major discrepancy. I don't know.
Neutral is not a major discrepancy. Evil is.
I'm lawful good. I think that is
What do
a
you
pretty big
mean? He's
discrepancy.
awful good.
Yeah, that's
That's
cute.
cute. That's cute.
That's
yeah.
adorable.
That's adorable.
We have every corner on the alignment tree.
Initially speaking,
We do
they...
actually, don't we?
Yes.
So.
Lawfully chaotic good.
There's no
Yeah,
chaotic evil.
There's no chaotic evil.
There's
here.
no chaotic evil because no.
But we almost have all the extremes. I mean, we have...
I'm not chaotic evil. What are you talking about?
That's just
Is
John,
it-
not
is
your
this-
character.
I mean,
I'm chaotic good.
we have lawful good to lawful evil. We have lawful good to chaotic neutral, I
Chaotic neutral.
assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lawful with chaotic neutral together.
I assume you're some chaotic or neutral good.
I'm chaotic. I think.
I think you're neutral good.
I think you were
Am I neutral good?
You're neutral good.
Yeah, I think you were
Okay.
neutral.
I'm chaotic good.
So we have
Yes.
all the flavors.
With an emphasis on the chaotic.
With an emphasis on the chaotic over the good.
If you were lawful neutral, it would form a nice little upside down
I feel like she's
U.
more
but-
chaotic good.
No, of course not.
Regardless, they had been commissioned by the Emperor to
That would be an N.
alleviate some problems they were having in... Most of them were
Assholes.
hired by the Emperor.
Yeah.
4 of these people were hired by the Emperor. And
no, 3 of these people and one other person because I had a character change.
right, you did too. So some of these people were hired by it. There was a group of people hired by the Emperor, and by hired I mean
Legend.
told and then geassed by the Emperor into going into a wood of Fae and finding a way to make them all dead, essentially. They broke off, encountered our compatriot Senstaku, who was a vigilante against the Emperor.
What you call a freedom fighter?
What you call a freedom fighter, terrorist, depending on who you ask.
I have a white tiger named Yukiba who eats things and is the most popular member of the group.
And is now part rock.
He's missing a paw, right? It has a rock.
She now has a diamond paw, a diamond leg instead of a regular leg.
Our DM has an issue with removing people's limbs.
Look,
That's the way it rolled.
I like for encounters to leave a permanent impression.
So
Or in this case, a
in the
permanent
first-
lack of
in our
impression.
first encounter with Sentaku, he lost an arm.
I lost an arm to random squid people
Look, the squid people rolled really well.
who had spears.
great.
They were crab people, by the way, not squid people.
Crab
People, crab people, taste like crab, look like people.
Regardless, after...
So-called crab people.
South Park.
So they met with him, and then
Glad I missed it.
they further met an individual by the name of Faust, who works
Faust
with the...
first.
One of the two.
They met with one of the two, who worked with an
Yeah,
organization
Fox is
called the Diamonds. The Diamonds is a sort of ambiguous organization that doesn't want the Emperor alive, and that seems to be enough for the group of you. And has instructed you to travel across the seas. Shortly before doing so,
Was this the spooky voice in the crystal?
Yes.
Yes.
It was a spooky voice in a crystal.
My benefactors.
We have found common alliance in our mutual hatred of the supposed self-installed God Emperor.
Yes. To clarify, the Emperor has declared that he is the physical manifestation of God.
And painted himself gold.
and
Prove
Yes,
it.
he's gold.
And he's, as far as you can tell, made of gold.
I don't think he's made of gold.
After single-handedly toppling this empire, and by single-handedly I mean by forging an alliance between dragons and titans, not just giants, actual titans,
Yeah.
and plunging the entire Western world into chaos.
Also, didn't we summon a demon god into the middle of the Imperial City?
You didn't.
No,
The Emperor
the
did.
Emperor did,
He
and
tried.
then we killed it.
Yeah.
It's just
And then
another
it got into a fight with the Titans, and then the continent did not flourish from
No,
these
that's
choices.
right. No, that's right. The Emperor summoned a chain demon, and we killed it.
Yeah, you killed the chain demon. You did not kill the one that was battling the Titan. It kind of roiled on, and
Eventually died.
it died eventually, but it destroyed a lot of landscape. What we're saying is you're never returning to that section of the world.
Aw.
Just not for a while.
I liberated my people.
You
My
liberate-
job is done.
You're from the Northern Islands. The two of you are from the Northern Islands, and spoilers for the future: the Northern Islands take over the Emperor, and it becomes feudal Japan instead of imperial China.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yep.
So, fleeing on
We win.
So the Diamonds
We won D&D.
got a boat for you, commissioned a gnomish captain to sail you across the sea.
This was a boat made of kneecaps.
A boat made entirely out of the kneecaps of her victims.
Smells great.
Pi, the self-proclaimed pirate queen of all gnomes, has transported you to the gnomish island, where I should mention
Really quick, Austin, what time does that computer say?
it says at 7:49.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I thought it said 8:49 for some reason. I was very confused.
Where I should clarify that after defeating the Emperor and his handguard, Taimo Sunguard, you found a staff that was part of a spell, and you were able to identify it as being a spell that would engulf the entire world in flames, destroying all life as we knew it.
One could call it a Worldfire.
Yes!
Would one really?
Dun, dun,
Not supposed to title drop it yet.
Do fucking like.
Upon reaching the gnomish island that is between Acrotia and Accordia, Acrotia being the land of the rising sun, Accordia being the land of the setting sun, which is how they were named despite the fact the sun rises in Accordia. But the arrogance of the God Emperor would dictate that the sun must rise here, because I am the God Emperor. Facts don't stop me from doing what I want.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That happens way too often.
So, reached the gnomish island, and you were waylaid briefly while this pirate queen was arrested for being a pirate queen and building her ship out of the kneecaps of her fallen enemies. While on this
I
island,
feel like it was more that than the being a pirate queen part, really.
I mean, one leads to another. While on this island, you discovered that there was a dark elf encampment that was an alliance between the dark elves and the Emperor, which hitherto everyone assumed that they were at war. The dark elves are sort of demon-worshipping people who like blood, death, human sacrifice, that sort of stuff. And the Emperor is a religious fanatic, I must control everything. So they didn't get along. But turns out when they're trying to blow up the world, they can find something to agree on, some common ground.
That's what's really important, finding common ground.
And it turns out that the patron of gnomes had, millennia ago, fought with a Tarrasque on this island, and had turned herself into a tree to hold the Tarrasque in a perpetual sleep. The two of them having an eternal fight, that sort of thing. The Dark Elves decided it would be a good idea to harness the energy of the Tarask by slowly poisoning the tree and allowing its powers to seep up. You discovered this ruse, went to defeat them, and restored the health of the tree, but not before an odd Dark Elf named Kretz Mahal stole the gem infused with the Tarask's power and vanished.
We also met the Emperor there, too.
Yeah, you just met the Emperor there and killed his new Sun Guard.
I'm glad we're reviewing this.
We're 2 for
because
2.
I had forgotten a lot of
Hey.
this.
Yeah, I forgot most.
What we're saying is we're badasses, and eventually we'll kill the Emperor.
Yeah,
We've got to work through another Sun Guard.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, Emperor.
yeah. I mean, rule of threes.
1,
Third
2,
time's the
3,
charm.
and
1, 2, 3, Emperor.
So,
And now I have a seed pod from said tree.
I mean, we're also 1 for 3 on Empires toppled, so if we could do 2 more while we're here, that'd be great.
We don't need to.
so
We don't need to leave havoc in our wake everywhere.
you've
Yes, we do.
you've healed the tree,
You have
which
tap dancing boots that let you kick things to death. What do you mean we don't leave havoc in our wake everywhere?
Only when it tries to step on me. And so far, everything has tried to.
it's not that I kill everything. It's that everything picks a fight with me and then loses.
Criticize.
Exactly.
So, after healing the tree and allowing it to continue to hold this Tarask in place, because when Tarasks wake up, bad things happen.
Yes.
You returned to the Gnomish capital city and liberated your friend captain to sail away with.
Wait, what?
Did we?
Yes,
Yep, we
What
did.
do?
you needed her ship, and none of you were sailors.
I forgot. What
You broke her out of
That's
prison.
right, we
Wait a
were-
second, I didn't sign up for this.
No, you didn't. Very specifically, since Taku and Faust broke her out of prison.
We work very well together.
Yeah, the chaotic good and the lawful evil character were like, we need something done, and neither of us have, like, you don't have any moral qualms, you don't have any ethical qualms, so you broke her out of prison,
We are the yin and yang. We keep each other in balance.
while the rest of you waited at the ship, and immediately boarded said ship and left very quickly before the
right. Very
Gnomish
quickly.
welcoming committee could return.
It's like, yeah, hey, you guys wait on the ship. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. Why? Don't ask questions.
And we were.
And none of you asked questions, and they were back in 5 minutes. And thankfully, as oddly built as Pai's ship may be, it turns out it is faster than the Gnomish ships.
Big
Because
sails.
it's made of kneecaps, you see.
It's nice and light.
It's constantly running.
It's actually...
Oh.
No such.
That was good.
That was brilliant.
My plan is to murder the GM with puns.
I'm for this just because I love the expressions he makes when they're
I feel like I just see an imaginary health bar decreasing.
If I was any good at puns, I would try it. But it's like, I love you so much.
This is where we are. This is the world.
There's also 2 other people traveling
This
with us.
is the world we live.
Yes. So, these are the main characters on the ship, but there are 4 NPCs with you. One of them you know about, Pai, Pirate Queen of all gnomes. There's another woman, very oddly dressed. So, she's short and with brown hair, and she's wearing an odd combination of a black t-shirt with a butterfly print, with a pink butterfly print on it, strange blue pants, and
Jeans.
very light shoes. And she has as her weapons a odd sword. It's similar to the dwarven swords, the Kopesh that you've seen, but it's much lighter and made out of a silvery material that you've heard rumored of called steel. And a ring on her other hand that is a vine wrapped around it that you have seen her use to throttle people with because she can animate it into a vine. You also have, traveling with you, 2 other characters. So, who are these other 2 characters traveling with you?
First of all, I would just like to clear up that that one character that he just described is not actually me, but it was based off of me.
I invented that character before I met you. The fact that she looks identical to you, acts identical to you, and does everything you would do is completely incidental.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
No, it legitimately is.
And she's an NPC and she is not being
Technically,
played by
you
me.
did meet her before you made up that character, because you met when you were 3 or something?
No, we
6.
met when we were 6.
6?
But that's
That's
a
a
whole
whole
other
other story.
That's a whole other story.
Long relationship stories aside,
We will go.
who else?
Going to leave you in
Who else is
suspense.
traveling with us?
Tyrell has a 5-year-old son. If Griffin is ever awake for these things, he will be played by Griffin. His name is Kai.
Is there anything special about Kai?
There's this thing where, like, when there's like a full moon, he turns into a wolf or a fox. Sorry, fox, not a wolf.
Instead of just a shifter, he's kind of a werefox.
He's kind of a lycanthrope.
But
Okay.
he is adorable.
I'm now powerful enough to help when he goes berserk on full moons.
Yes, but
Hold
he
monster
is
and
adorable.
just wait.
He is not a monster,
Hold monster just applies to everybody, no matter what their class, what their creature type is.
and he is also like her motivation for everything.
Yes.
She is trying to help him so that he will be able to shift like she can painlessly.
And intentionally, and not lose his
Yes.
mind.
Yeah, I was getting to
There's
that.
other little
But
benefits.
Yes. So she is really traveling to the New World to figure out.
She heard through this odd diamond that Faust carries that they've heard of this condition and know how to treat it. They discovered this condition on the Gnomish island, but unfortunately, when it was treated for them, it didn't do any good on Kai.
Yeah. And also, when I was saying earlier about being chaotic good, honestly, I think she's chaotic good because there's nothing she wouldn't do for him, and her alignment could easily shift because there is nothing that she would not do to protect him.
Not technically evil, because it's for a good cause.
But her alignment could shift, I would say.
Yeah. All right, Faust.
The other individual is accompanying Faust. She is a half-orc girl by the name of Gora.
And to clarify, orcs in this world are the result of horrible experiments by the Dark Elves in mutating. In the Lord of the Rings, orcs are basically elves that have had their souls tortured into a state of oblivion,
And then get turned into Urakai, which are even better than
which
that.
are half elf, half human.
Yep.
That have had They're similar in this world, but they're less soulless. The creation process was similar. The result's slightly different. Not a lot different, but slightly different.
But Gora is a roughly 12, 13-year-old half-orc girl who at some point stumbled into Faust and has just kind of stuck on and has somehow not been able to get away. They've never been able to separate for whatever reason. And she is skilled in medicine, which is good for whenever Faust is injured. She's also got the beginning traits of being a skilled rogue. But more than that, as much as Faust says that she is simply a pawn in his master plans, anytime any danger befalls her, Faust feels this unbridled urge to slaughter whatever the cause was. So,
And he rolls natural 20s when that happens.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch. Never hurt her though.
but is this sort of. There's a very easy way to make Faust angry, and no good things ever happen when it happens.
All right. So that was a nice bit of info dump. But we've got it's 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we've got some character sheet updating to do. Everybody will be level 10 when we start. However, we're going to go ahead and do a little teaser intro.
Okay.
So, you are on your ship, the Kneecap Avenger, which is, as previously mentioned, made of a few kneecaps.
A few hundred.
Oh,
On dick picture.
you have the thing that gives you plus to your spell save DC, and I have
Yes.
the thing that gives plus to the attack bonus.
Yes, I have the dark amulet and my gloves of Mrs. Snaring.
Thankfully, the Gnomish Island also is inhabited by dinosaurs, so there's some very large kneecaps that make this ship more stable than it would otherwise be.
I mean, gotta do what you gotta do.
So it was almost a 2-month sail to the Gnomish Island. Thankfully, the Gnomish Island is a bit closer to Accordia, where you're going, and it's about a 1-month journey, in which you are all slowly driven mad by your primary company being an insane pirate gnome. But
Faust and Senstaku start seeing eye to eye on more issues, and it's getting
That's terrifying.
No, I mean, you're right. I think utterly destroying our enemies is definitely the way for peace.
If they're dead, they can't fight back.
Exactly. What am I saying?
As you're approaching, the crystal that Faust you keep on you, you feel it warm in your pocket.
I pull it out.
It has the same slightly blue-green glow that it does.
Greetings. How can I assist?
Hey there! You on the I mean, are you on the ship?
Do I remember this guy's name?
He never told you his name.
Yeah. Yes, I am on the ship.
I know his name.
Out of game, we all know his
Yeah,
name.
I know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
This is.
Good. Could you gather everyone around?
You know you don't have to do that voice.
I know. I don't care.
I look up from the crystal. Our benefactor has a message for us.
Is he doing that voice thing again?
Yes.
To clarify, every time they've spoken to him, he's broken his voice at least once or twice. This is not new.
All you gather.
I'll gather
Walk
over there.
up.
Also, to clarify, whenever they want to speak with him, they do so by hanging a single sock out their window. Just to give you an idea. Is everybody together? You could just talk like a normal person. You hear a second voice in the background. Shut up! I'm on the... You don't know what a phone is, do you? I'm on the crystal!
Why are you sitting on the crystal? Aren't you supposed to talk into it?
It gets better reception if my butt's on it, that's why.
I didn't need to know that.
I'd hate to see what you do to polish your
Dark
swords.
crystal? Is it a dark crystal?
It is now.
You hear a loud sighing.
You had a message for us.
Yes. So, yes. So, I've got your contact set up in the New World. His name is Melodious, and you'll be meeting with him and his compatriot, Tanar.
Is he an elf?
Half.
Figured.
What do you mean by that?
His name is Melodious.
No, that came out from the crystal.
Yeah, that was his response.
Oh, okay.
His name is Melodious.
Yes, my name is Melodious.
Called it.
You hear a facepalm.
You're actually here.
Yes, it was such a solid facepalm. You heard it, and it sounds like the man was wearing a helmet. There was like a clank. He's wearing a gauntlet and a helmet.
Ah, fuck. Shit.
Good to know one of the members of this council's name.
Actually, they're not part of my thing. My super secret club.
I mean, they're talking on your super secret crystal.
Yes, because they're in the room with me, and it's not really one of those ones, like, it's always on speakerphone.
What's a speakerphone?
Right! I'm in the wrong place. Sandra steps up. How do you know about speakerphones?
What is a speakerphone?
I mean, like, I haven't seen anything here more advanced than, like, steel. How do you know about... Who are you? I don't get to tell you. His name is Elrin. You hear someone else say, I was keeping that secret! I'm not going to tell you again. Just because you wear that stupid hood, you don't look any more imposing and or intimidating. You're like 4'8", and you look like a child. Yeah, but you look like a poopy head.
I can't believe I'm having this conversation.
You hear the clang of the face palm again.
Yes,
Why?
it constantly surprises me what they can pull.
What do you get from them?
You remember the magic artifacts that exploded and killed a large group of enemies for me.
Okay. All right, I'm with
Things like that.
Okay, that's fair. That's legit.
You hear another, much more solemn voice. He's not actually an idiot. He just likes to act like one. Anyway, can we get
Stop looking at me.
back to the point, Elrin? Yes, the point. You're going to meet with Melodies and Snar, which means I'm going to need you to park that boat just south of Daventry. There's a little cove.
Elrin, you seem to have forgotten your voice.
Does he hear a stare?
Yes. the crystal's color changes from blue-green to like red for a second.
There's just a wide fanged grin on.
There's the dark crystal on our side now too.
Anyway, you're going to park your little boat in a cove just south
I
of
wouldn't call it
Daventry.
little. The captain takes offense to that.
That's right. The captain always picked up about little comments.
She will take your kneecaps and add them to the boat.
She can't catch me.
I wouldn't test her.
You haven't seen the things we've seen.
To clarify, just so you have an idea, she's actually a level 16 barbarian. So you've seen her in a fight.
Yeah, you haven't. You didn't see what she did to that dinosaur.
Anyway, so you're going to park the little boat in the cove just south of Daventry, and you're going to get out, and you're going to be met by a group of people who look like they're with the Empire. Chill, it's fine. They're friends of Melodious and Tanar.
As long as they don't attack us.
How do we know that they're not actually, a part of the Empire? Is there a secret code or something?
Secret handshake.
Well, I've been trying to teach them a secret handshake, but it's stupid, says the solemn voice again. You'll know that it's them because they won't attack you on sight.
That's fair.
They'll also know who you are.
I mean, that's still kind of vague.
They'll know exactly who we are. What makes us tick.
They'll know Faust's name. My goodness, Elrin, could you stop hiring people like you?
I mean, he didn't. He hired me.
We just kind of tagged along.
I see. Is that all the information they need, Elrin? Yeah, it should be. Are you going to turn that crystal off? Oh, yeah! You hear a click noise.
I put the crystal away.
Did you actually turn it off this time?
No response?
Evidently.
No response.
All right.
Okay, good.
Okay, we're good.
I put the crystal away.
Just check. Alright, so boat cove south of Daventry, meet with people, look like Empire, not gonna kill us.
Does our captain know where Daventry is?
Captain, do you know where Daventry is?
Ooh! Yes! It has the most kneecaps!
We're going to a cove south of it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain she heard the entire conversation.
Yeah! Gnomes have very good hearing. Did you know that?
I did.
Yes.
It's how I hear the kneecaps.
You also heard Elrin call your boat little. You're welcome to take his kneecaps.
I'm scared of Elrin.
Interesting.
The boat's maintaining its course. It's another about 2 days. You can just see land after the next day, and then by the day after, around evening, you pull into a cove. It's very well hidden, and you can see. Actually, you can generally tell that this looks like it's commonly been used as a smuggler's route in the past. Especially those of you who are, use subterfuge or the like in the past since Taku. You pull in, and the boat docks. The massive, giant, you don't think you've even seen a dinosaur with a kneecap this size, drawbridge drops.
Where did that come from? That one.
I don't know. Elrin bought it for me in exchange for driving you over here.
Alrighty then. I get off. I'm riding Yukima down.
As you walk down, Sandra looks at it. That's a dragon's kneecap.
Interesting.
Huh.
Elrin got that for you? Yeah. He's a nice guy.
Okay. Carl grabs Kai.
You
Girl, come.
I assume you depart with the rest and don't just stay on the boat, made of kneecaps.
I mean, you can stay on the boat if you want, but we're getting off, and it's probably not coming back.
Yeah, no, I
get off.
I disembark with a very large, confused shrug.
As you disembark, you see there's a small cave in the distance, and by the time you've disembarked, you see a half dozen men coming out, the leader of them holding a torch. The 5 behind him are all human, but the front man is definitely a half-elf. He's got the alabaster white skin and the jet black hair and red eyes that all of the other half-elves you've ever seen have. Hail, Faust. The big one.
That's that one. I point.
There's a lot of big people in this party.
I
actually.
step forward, and the black dragonborn that has been for most of the boat ride, just the illusion kind of washes over it, and it's once again the roughly 7 foot tall, pale skinned, white haired individual.
Yeah, we were told to escort you in. That you're. Is that boat made of kneecaps?
Yes.
Don't ask.
I won't.
There weren't exactly many transportation options, you see.
Where Tanar gets his contacts, I have no idea.
Probably not something you want to know.
I don't ask. I make a point of it.
It's a good policy.
Are you Melodious, I take it?
Oh, goodness, no.
Oh, sorry.
No, Melodious and Tanar are the captain of the Empire's Guard here.
Who are you?
I'm Lieutenant Rel.
Well, Rel, take us to Tanar.
Yes, this way. He begins leading you. You notice that the humans in this group, 2 of them are the kind of human you're used to seeing. The other 3 are strange. They're taller. Their eyes aren't brown. 2 of them have bluish eyes. One of them has greenish eyes. And their hair is lighter. Brown. 2 of them have brown hair, and one of them even has the hair in a strange yellow color.
The white-haired, blue-eyed ninja isn't affected by the color.
No, you see, the thing is, you're used to seeing, from the Northern Islands, you're used to seeing like bright green or blue or white hair. You're not used to seeing brown or blonde. Like,
Yeah.
you're used to seeing like maybe like a bright yellow, but this is actually natural blonde. You're used to seeing anime hair, not
real hair.
not Westerner hair. So, they lead you through the night to, and you see the massive white walled city that you can only assume is Daventry. All right, we've got a cart here, he says, grabbing a cart that has a strange 4-legged animal pulling it. It's a horse. But, again,
None of us have ever seen
none of you have seen a horse before. I apologize for this, he says, opening up barrels. I was told one of you would be large. I wasn't expecting 3. I was told about the tiger, he says, opening up a large cage.
Well, reach down and pat Yukiba. It's okay. You can break out if they get really nasty. And let Yukiba go into the cage.
Why must we get in barrels?
So the Imperial guards that are actually serving the Emperor don't see us.
The diamond-legged
Gotcha.
Yukiba. Tink. Tink. Tink.
You'd be surprised how many of the Imperial Guard are actually with Melodius and Tanara and not the Emperor. But
There's enough.
keeping up appearances.
I just sort of get up into the cart and does a 28 stealth check hide me from view without getting into a barrel?
Oh yeah.
That's gonna
You walk into the cart and just vanish. The rest of you assume you just cast invisibility.
If you need more room for large individuals, I just alter my disguise self to looking like a guard.
Well, we can probably fashion together a uniform. He's able to throw something together. They won't ask too many questions. They are able to stuff the rest of you into barrels. Thankfully, despite you're an orc, you're big, but you're not.
Not as big as he is.
You're not a Goliath or a
Not
Dragonborn.
free.
So
I'm tall by Goliath standards.
yeah, they drive you into the city. The gate guards don't ask too many questions because it's a Imperial Guard wagon. And you drive through. It's a long drive. This city is massive and sprawling, and as decadent as you come to used to from the Imperial standard. But the styling is very different on the outer sides. There's a lot more brick and wood as opposed to the whitewashed everything that you're used to from the Empire. And there's not as many red banners. Like, there's still red banners with the Imperial symbol, but not as many.
They're not everywhere.
Yet they're not literal everywhere. So, it's hard for you to see or hear anything from inside the wagon. But it's a good couple hours before you get to the central. It's less of a castle, more of a fort. It's much more built for military purpose and then decorated as an afterthought. So, you're taken to the wagon is taken to the stable, and then once the stable is emptied, there's a knock given to clarify that you can all get out of your respective hiding places.
Step out of barrel.
All right. Sorry about that. Hope you're not too cramped. Here's the way to go, he says, walking
I
off.
just sort of slide out of the shadows and stuff and hop off.
He walks you further into the stable and walks into one of the stalls that's empty, moves some hay aside and lifts it up. There you go.
Lead Yukiba in. Yukiba, just stay right up here. Eat anybody that looks like they shouldn't be here. Yukiba sort of lays down in the stable.
You have just learned not to question tigers.
Yeah, she's probably not going to fit down there anyways.
No. We'll have a lot of luck fitting him down there, he says, pointing at the 9'3" Goliath.
8'3".
8'3", whatever.
I think 9'3" would make me large size.
Yeah, it would make you large size.
Yeah.
Yukiba is large sized, so.
You all go through the tunnels?
Yep.
You crawl on through. Well, most of you don't have to crawl. One of you don't have to crawl, it's just not comfortable, and it's a long walk.
You're bent about halfway over.
Yeah. But finally, you reach a spiral staircase, and you go up, and up, and up, and up. You probably went up 5 stories, which, given the architectural designs of the day, really high.
I wonder how much further we have to go.
I don't tire.
Thankfully.
Charles just carrying Kai on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Turns out I kind of grew up climbing mountains.
As a note, something that has changed with the favorite soul changes that I've undergone, I now have a blessed countenance, which makes me look like divinely kind to everyone.
I mean, you already did.
It makes me very enchanting. It also gives me bonuses to all my charisma rolls.
You get to the top, and there's a trapdoor.
I guess I'll peek out first. 24 stealth check to...
It doesn't lift.
Is it locked?
No, it doesn't seem to be locked. It's really heavy.
I look to our
Hi.
Goliath friend.
I have spindly arms.
Do you mind opening the door?
I get away.
I can open it.
I think you both have 18 strength.
No,
So.
I got 20.
That's
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
that is 12 more than I have.
You go push against the...
I'll go
10 more.
Don't even roll a check.
Yeah.
You start pushing, and it's really heavy, but you're not nearly as quiet as Senstaku was, and you hear some scuffling and some scraping, and once the scraping's done, the door opens really easily
Because they lifted up.
because they pulled all the heavy stuff off of it,
Oh, okay.
and it opens up into a fireplace.
Okay. No fire?
There's no fire. You suspect it was just put out, though, because you see steaming wet wood off to the side. You, looking into the room, you see two men. They're also clearly half-elves. They are tall. The first one, they both have the jet black hair. The first one is wearing black leather with a lot of red lining and trim, and has at his hip a rather large battle axe with a very ornate red crystal at the hilt. And he has a splendid cape in red. The other one is carrying a poleaxe and is dressed primarily in white and red, and has a helmet and gauntlet and is wearing full armor, and has a much more somber look to his face.
I point at the one with the helmet. Melodious?
Tanar.
Oh, okay.
I'm Melodious, says Melodious, stepping forward into an elaborate bow. Welcome to Daventry. I do apologize about how you had to get here. So, if I might say so, you are, well, much different than Elrin described you, but many things are.
The disguise self-dissipates.
The boy has a penchant for...
I don't think it was working.
There's a reason.
The boy has a penchant for... I was going to say exaggeration, but it might be near to the truth if they... making things up. Entirely.
Lying.
Tanari says, yes.
Well, evidently, the people who got us here were only informed that there was one notably tall member of this party, so... Clearly
Yes,
they
I would have
received one
appreciated
difference.
greater information out of Elrin, but that has never been forthcoming.
To be fair, has Elrin seen us more than once? Myself more than once.
Elrin's never seen you,
Yeah.
as far as you know.
I asked the question aloud. I'm not certain Elrin is very certain what we look like.
I've only ever seen Elrin once, says Melodious, and that was very recently. He's a boy by all my standards. Can't be much more than 16.
Well, apparently he has the fear of a deadly warrior, so...
I mean, he's skilled seeming. He walked into my bedroom in the middle of the night
That's creepy.
and told me that I needed to wake up because he was bored. Tanara looks. Yes, he did the same for me. My wife nearly killed him. Melodia smiles. Your wife is a good throw with a lamp. Yes, I don't think she's that good of a throw.
I mean, you never know. So get lucky.
Tanara rolls his eyes.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It only takes the correct amount of pressure to, like, 3 points on the neck and head to actually kill somebody, so...
If we can move past this, we have business to attend to,
Yes.
Melodious.
Yes. What do we
Yes, So, from what I understand, you've stirred up some rather nice trouble on the Gnomish Islands.
Thank you.
And Acrotia.
Yeah.
A little.
Unfortunately,
Among other places.
that means that the Emperor has taken up residence here.
Well, I mean, we did drive him off the other two places, so.
Yes.
So then we'll drive him off here.
Off this world would be a better start.
Or, to the core of it.
We have a couple issues. We have a war, cuts into Nar. I'm sure you've heard of the Druidic Wars, and whatever lies the Emperor has told you, we have not been winning it for the past 3 years.
What have I heard of the Druidic Wars?
Oh, you've heard that it's a glorious crusade against savages.
Yeah, those same things that the Emperor talks about in the Druidic Wars, he talked about us, and then we kicked his ass. So, could you give us the details?
3 years ago, says Melodious, there was an arrangement made with the Druids. They had their land and we had ours. Something happened to break it. I'm honestly not sure of what it was. Regardless, the Druids began massacring the Empire's outposts. Walking through, one grove with 1,000 Druids amassed an army from those 1,000 Druids. An army we cannot fight with our tens of thousands.
Why can we not fight?
Presumably because one druid is worth at least 100 men.
One Druid is worth a legion.
How big is a legion?
1,000.
Oh, okay. I mean, we were worth the Emperor and his two of
To
three.
be fair, the Emperor fled rather than fighting.
I mean, demons, things in between.
In particular, their leaders. There are 3 of them. The leader of the Druids is a man named Sinaris. The man of the 3 leaders, he's the only one who never has a troop with him. He simply walks into a city, and we've learned to leave when he walks in.
Sounds like a fun guy.
His brother, as I've been informed, is a superb shot. He and 12 men lay siege to a city from a distance beyond our sight. Arrows simply rain down, piercing the hearts of whoever is there. His sister is the least merciful of all of them, though. Have you ever seen how a tree will grow into a rock and slowly break it apart over a matter of years?
No, but I have seen how a tree will grow around Tarask and slowly keep it in slumber for a matter of years.
The grass itself will grow, strangling everyone inside the village.
I presume diplomacy has already been tried and failed?
Don't presume that. I don't think they know how to try diplomacy.
Or has the Emperor
The
simply been
Emperor
too hot-headed?
is far too hot-headed. We were making way on an underhanded deal with Elrin when the Emperor suddenly took up residence here.
So what we do is we paint the target on the Emperor's head for the one druid that just walks into cities and everyone walks away from, and then they clash and just both of them die or one of them dies. Either way, we clean up what's left.
Getting a meeting with the Druids is hard enough.
I'm assuming that is where we come in.
Yes. The Emperor has been angry at us for our alliance with the Dark Elves in the north. He says that it is a horrible thing that we are abandoning everything we stand for by allying with those savages to fight the other savages. However, it's currently the only thing keeping us alive. At the very least, the demonic hordes they summon are strong enough to, well, die more slowly to the druidic advances. The moment he says demonic hordes, Tanar turns aside and spits on the ground.
Yeah, about that.
I am not at all happy about that either.
Neither am I, says Tanar.
Well, you're going to be a lot less happy. I assume that, what's his name, hasn't told you what happened on the Gnomish Island.
No, of course not. Why would Elrin tell us pertinent information if you could fill us in?
Yeah, so, the Emperor was there. Remember the aforementioned tree growing around Tarask thing I was talking about? Well, he was there.
What's a Tarask?
World-ending terror.
That one.
A creature you never wished.
A massive ancient creature, splits worlds apart, eats thousands of people, destroys empires, etc., etc. Lots of energy, that one has. And the Emperor was trying to siphon it to cast a spell. Well, we stopped that. But the energy that he had siphoned out of it into a crystal, what's the Dark Elf's name?
Kretz Mahal.
That one took it. Energy enough to power a spell that will engulf the world in fire now resides in a crystal at the hands of Kretz Mahal. About that working with the Dark Elves thing.
How did he get a hold of it?
The Emperor.
They look to each other for a moment. Are you implying that the Emperor then is allied with Dark Elves, and yet...
Separately from your own empire, yes.
I...
Independently of you guys. Although I think he was allied with them in order to siphon the energy off. He was planning on taking the crystal and screwing the Dark Elves, but the Dark Elves sort of got the jump on him and screwed him back harder, so...
The Emperor...
Your emperor
is
been
an idiot.
poor at making deals, yes.
He's very bad at that.
He's many things.
Yes, unfortunately, powerful is one of them. At least in regards of brainwashing an entire civilization of people.
I presume he holds the same sway here as on Acrotia?
Not nearly the same amount. Many people dislike him.
Is there enough for any form of
Rebellion?
large-scale disloyalty enough to...
You're going to
Mix
have
his
to
messages?
associate with one of our friends, he says. Tanar frowns. I wouldn't call him a friend.
Who is this?
Is he a freedom fighter? Because I'm sort of that, and that's sort of my deal.
He's a fighter. He likes to kill things. Thankfully, we have him aimed at the right ones currently.
His name?
Dredge Tier.
Oh, goody.
He's...
They have a lot of funny names on this continent.
There are a large number of natives on this continent. Most of them know well enough to stay away from any conflict with the Druids and have fled to the southern reaches. However, one city in particular, a city of heathens, murderers, and
People
other.
who can stand up to druids.
Let's go there.
Dredge Tier is the only man that I've ever met who can face a druid one-on-one. He also rides a dragon.
A good start.
That's a decent start.
The city of Dragon Tamers is indeed our last stand. Once they pass it, they're on to Daventry, and we can't stop them.
I mean, it'd be cooler if he was riding like a titan and a dragon, but I think we've covered that previously.
I don't know what a dragon.
She said
said
let's
we
go
did.
there first.
We did ride a dragon.
No, she says out of game. I just want a dragon.
Then we should be on our way.
Yes, says Melodious. He will be very accommodating to help you arrange a new system with the Emperor, in which the Emperor has fewer limbs.
I like that system.
Let's do
I
that.
would arrange fewer with no.
As long as the head is one of the missing limbs, I really don't care about the others.
0 is fewer than 5.
It's very specific, though.
I mean, yes, it's a nice number. I like 0
When
myself.
should we meet with him?
He's how you're getting out of the city.
Good.
What?
How are you getting out of the city?
Where's the dragon? I say, looking out the window. If there's a window.
I'm just pointing at Faust.
I am a dragonborn.
It's in the name.
Is he riding the dragon?
You'll find that magic
He'll-
disagrees with you.
Be arriving in the morning.
Good timing.
Well,
I assume he'll
one
be
thing I have
arriving
to
in
give
the
Elrin,
morning.
his sense of dramatic timing is impeccable. Tanar, again, rolls his eyes so heavily you hear it.
You should get that looked at. I'm a doctor, by the way.
I'm surrounded by
Don't trust
idiots.
So,
Trust me. I have a
what
trustworthy
occurs,
face.
What occurs tomorrow then?
I roll a 30. I roll a 33 on deception. I have a trustworthy face.
I will not insult your intelligence by saying he is not to be trusted.
Tomorrow, you will leave as the honor guard of Dredge Tier. You will have to change your dress a little bit to fit in. Also, be aware that Dredge Tier is unaware of Elrin, as is everyone else except for the two of us. As part of the negotiations, you are not to speak his name, especially not once your meeting with the druids is arranged. I don't know what his past is with them, but it is not something to be discussed.
I imagine it has something to do with socks.
I beg your pardon?
If you want to talk to him, you hang a sock out a window.
He doesn't have socks.
Is that where my socks went? Says Melodious, looking to Dinar. You now see the metallic facepalm. You almost you see like there's a dent in Tanar's helmet from all the face palms that this man has had over his life.
You know, you can save on repair fees by just taking that off first.
Or decapitating him, he says, looking at Melodious. That would be an entirely unpaladinly thing of you to do, says Melodious, giving him the most obnoxious grin.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said we would have to change our dress to get out of here.
Yes.
What about my son? Can he leave with us? Motion to the sleeping child in my arms.
Also, we have a dragon. Or not a dragon. We have a tiger.
The tiger will fit in easily with the entourage that Dredge Tier brings with him. Oh, also, his name is Dredge Tier. That is his name. Do not shorten it. Do not make any nicknames. Do not make fun of it.
No DZT.
I'm not sure if he'll decapitate you or burn you to ash. He'll make it up on the spot.
It'll be an interesting event.
Regardless. No, any sort of strange animal will accompany you, and that'll be fine.
There's a child and a teenager in the
That,
room.
on the other hand,
I mean, I can help with that.
I'm sure there's a way to get them to our looks. Are you implying that we allow a child to accompany them?
Yes.
Yeah.
My child comes with me.
He looks at you. Melodious says, it's probably completely out of the question. We'll take good care of him.
No. My child comes with me.
Tanar continues to look at you. I understand.
If I might ask, why do you wish to? Why do you continue bringing him?
He will go with you, says Tanar.
He will go with me.
We've seen what happens when he is by himself.
I say nothing about separating you, of course. I am simply wondering why you continue adventuring into danger knowing you bring him with you. That is my only question.
Adventure into danger for him.
I understand.
I have a daughter of my own, says Tanar. I understand the connection. And I'm going to be honest, Daventry is not as safe a place as it was. Especially not with the Emperor here.
Ah, he's
I
present.
also don't think they would be very welcoming when his true colors are shown.
Is there something else that the boy didn't tell us?
Well,
Lots of things.
I gently place my sleeping son down, and I shift into a fox.
Indeed.
Yep.
I'll take it as less voluntary. Is he lycanthropic?
He is.
Question. Is there any way, say, two of us could meet up with the honor guard outside the city?
He's how you're getting out of the city.
I have yet to meet a city that can keep me inside, and I can take him with me.
You will not take my child.
To meet you outside the walls, so he's
No.
not that much of a hassle.
He stays with me.
I can take both of you
Also,
with me.
let's not test your track record here.
I can take both of you with me.
He steps over and looks at the child. There's a strange race of people here called the Halflings. Not many of them follow Dredge Tier, but it wouldn't be too much of a stretch. It shall be an easy enough to disguise. You, I imagine, will be very easy, he says, pointing at Gora. Just put a little bit more emphasis on the fangs, and we'll need to teach you to look like a monster.
I put a hand on her shoulder. Oh, don't worry. She learns from the best.
I mean, I
You-
give you a B plus myself.
Might find yourself better acquainted to the locals in that form, by the way, says Tanar.
In the dragon... okay.
Yeah. If you're going to pose as the honor guard of the Dragon Tamers. Also, if you plan on animating any dead, I will find you and kill you. He
That
says,
power-
pointing at the necklace on you.
That power is not within my grasp.
Good.
I mean, it's within mine, but
I sort of glare at you for just a moment.
me or him?
Yeah, at Faust, for just a moment at that comment.
That power is not within my grasp. Nor would it likely be. The one I serve would rather be unopposed.
Before you go, you will need this, he says, grabbing a package. Elrond said they might be useful, and I appreciate it this time. Hand me your shields.
I do so.
Are they round shields?
They're tower shields.
Large squares.
Yeah.
Basically, imagine just a tree split in half and hollowed out, essentially.
It's the twin great shields from Dark Souls.
He grabs, he pulls out a pair.
One of them more spiked.
He grabs a pair of what essentially look to be driftwood doors and hands them to you. You'll notice that in addition to being driftwood doors, they're driftwood doors riddled with railroad spikes. They'll help you fit in. I'm assuming
Now
you grab
it's
them.
the tire shields.
I take them.
They, at the moment you pick one up, it's weird. It weighs nothing.
Having fun there, big guy?
Like,
No.
you're a big guy, you're used to things being light, but this is not normal light.
I presume it feels magical? Or?
Oh yeah. They're magic.
Very nice.
They'll
Thank you.
suit you better for what you need. Particularly when fighting demons.
I mean, demons are my
Of
favorite kind of enemy.
course. Everywhere I go.
All I'm going to say is that once our negotiations are done with the druids, we all know who's next.
Of course.
Especially if they have the power you've mentioned. You now have a pair of Demon's Bane shields.
We can only have temporary allies, can't we?
I do not consider anyone who summons demons to be an ally. At the
Temporarily or
best of
otherwise.
times.
They haven't really ever been our allies either.
Trying
Melodia
to be
steps forward.
optimistic.
Well,
The downside of having a
It's hard to beat.
paladin on the captain of the guard is it makes it very difficult to arrange treaties
I
when
mean,
you
just-
need to.
Depends on what kind of paladin you got.
Anyway, get some rest. You will be meeting Dredge Tier in the morning.
I'm thrilled.
He looks around. I suppose you can rest here, he says. I'll have some of my loyal servants bring in some makeshift cots. This door shouldn't be opened until it is opened for Dredge Tier in the morning. Some cots are brought in and some good food that has no fish in it at all. And is not salted. Right? And that should be a nice intro, and then we'll meet Dredge Tier and the rest of it when we actually start, and we'll start rolling dice and having encounters and meeting dragons.
I don't sleep because I don't need to.
I'm
Let's keep watch.
an ASMR. I turn into an angel and fly.
So yes, when we return, we will actually get started. You will see the rest of Accordia. And yeah,
We'll have a different overlay and different mics.
hopefully.
Give generously. Help us buy mics.
So,
We have nothing to give.
Generously and help us buy shotguns.
We have nothing to give you in return just yet, but eventually,
I mean,
eventually
we
will.
have quality entertainment to
We
give
do
you.
have this fine quality entertainment to give you.
I have a charming personality and a winning smile to give you.
I do like your winning smile.
But yeah, so we'll be back next week with more Wildfire or Worldfire.
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 I mean, to be fair, if the entire world's on fire, it's pretty wild.
It is a wildfire, but so yeah, say goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.